Hello and welcome back to Princess Evangile. Alright, where were we? It has been about a week since I actually recorded anything for this. I'm going to be participating in the races this year. Wow, Ayaka-san. Are you fast? No, not at all. This is my first year racing after all. I see. Did someone push you into it? No, I volunteered. I thought it might be fun to participate in the athletics festival for once. Well, that's good. I think so. Before this year I would have never thought of going out and participating though. That's right, Atsuki-chan had brought that up before. Now that you're reformed, you should participate in the athletics festival this year. Are you running the borrowers race after that? Where did that come from? Well, it's just that Ritsuki-chan was talking about it before. Ayaka-san had acted strangely when they brought up the borrowers race before. That had lingered with me ever since. But she was having another strange reaction now. She seemed flustered. Her face was red and she kept looking first at me and then down at the ground. But Ayaka-san, what's wrong? Oh, it's nothing. You got it exactly, I'm running in the borrowers race. I see. Then I hope you do great in both of them. Right. For now, I'm mostly worried about the next race. If I come in last after volunteering myself, I'll disappoint everyone. Are you really that slow? I don't have much athletic ability and... She blushed and didn't answer. The sight of her trying to cover her chest made it clear what she meant. Seikun, what are you looking at? Well, I was thinking it's probably kind of hard to run. Oh, you. Ayaka-san laughed and I felt relieved. I had to keep my lecherous gaze in check. Well, it's no big deal, but... She trailed off and leaned in close to me. You better not be looking at all the other girls like some lecher. I wasn't planning on it. I wonder about that. It's true. I spoke with real sincerity, and Ayaka-san averted her eyes bashfully and murmured, "Oh," and nothing more. Today was going to be the day that I told her. I thought the athletics festival would be a good occasion, and knowing the truth about Kyoko-chan made me even more motivated. I guess I'm like your supposed sister in that regard. But you're not that kind of person, are you? I hope not. Oh, by the way, about her? Kyoko? I figured it was best not to hide it, so I wanted to tell Ayaka-san first. But then the announcement came up. The next event will be the 100-meter dash. All participants, please come to the starting line. Oh, I'd better go. Salutations. Good luck. Thanks. Root for me, okay? Sure. It appeared that all grade levels ran the race at once, and I moved to a spot where I could best see the race, and found Ritsuki-chan and Konomi-chan there. Hello. Salutations. Salutations. Konomi-chan, why are you wearing your martial arts uniform? I'm a warrior. I would never wear something so flimsy as bloomers. Really? Do you do that during gym class too? Of course. She appears to have made a request to the teachers. Ah. Personally, I would be more embarrassed that way, but... What are you saying? It's my opinion that a hakama done up with the belt tied properly is the most gallant sight. That in itself may be true. Everyone else is wearing gym uniforms. I'm used to it! I'm used to it! Maybe she was embarrassed after all. Ayaka-san said she'd be participating today. Yes, that's correct. I chose to sit in front to have a better view of it. I see. That's what I did too. Please root for her. I'm certain she would be happy to hear your voice. Right. Soon enough, Ayaka-san's turn came around. The starter pistol sounded out and the runners took off. Whoa. She really is slow. The words slipped out quietly. Of course I didn't mean it maliciously. But a moment after they started, there was already a gap. The swing? What are you looking at? Oh, I wasn't one to talk. This is a situation where binding is most important? Oh, if only I taught her how to bind. Oh, Konomi. I took in a deep breath. Ayaka-san! Keep going! She looked back at the sound of my voice and smiled. I felt like she sped up a little after that. But in the end, she came in last. Good work out there. Good work. Good work out there. Yeah. I'm exhausted. It was only 100 meters too. I'm so pathetic. I'm sorry. Huh? I should have taught you how to bind to keep him stabilized. Please don't. But I came in last in the end. When it's all over, I'll have to apologise to my class. It is a shame, but it must have been fun to participate for once, right? Yeah, that's true. Ritsuko-chan's gentle prodding got an honest nod out of Ayaka-san. I owe this to you. Huh? Me? I don't just mean the athletics festival. I owe you for a lot of things. I never had much fun being here at Venice's before. But ever since you showed up, my school life's been non-stop fun. I really owe you that, Masaya-kun. I wasn't sure how much I'd really done for her. But if I had improved Ayaka-san's school life in some way, then I was genuinely happy. Thanks, Masaya-kun. You're welcome. We broke for lunch. Families had always been invited to Venice's cultural festival, so it was standard for them to eat together. But some students' families lived too far away from them to visit, so the dining hall remained in service for them. I headed in that direction too. Masaya-kun, you're eating in the dining hall, right? Why don't we eat together? Sure, but are you sure, Ayaka-san? About what? You don't want to eat with the headmistress and your dad? We never eat together at the athletics festival. I see. Well, apparently they just come to watch. That seemed like a sad thought to me, but Ayaka-san just seemed to act relieved. Well, eating with the headmistress would probably make everything taste sour anyway. I was still thinking about what had happened that morning when we came back together. And by the way, looks like your sister isn't here. Ayaka-san looked all around her. Oh, now that you mention it. At a time like this, I would have expected Kyoko to come flying at you. Well, it doesn't matter, let's go. Fair enough. Are you sure you don't want to eat with Masaya-sama? I think my mission's going to be over soon. I'd rather not interfere any more than I have to. I see. Yep. I say the joys of getting messages on multiple devices at once. Oh, you heard from your father? Yeah, got a call from him this morning. Finally got to ask him about any illegitimate children he might have. What did he say? Sounds like Kyoko-chan is definitely not my sister. We entered the dining hall, got our lunches and arrived at the table, and Ayaka-san was still thinking hard. But then, who is she? Who is Kyoko? I have no idea. I don't know why she's been pushing herself on me. I guess I'll just ask her about it when the athletics festival is over, because I'd really like to know. I see. But, Masaya-kun, what did you think when you heard? Were you disappointed? No, not at all. Actually, well, I don't know. I guess I might have been a little happy to think I had some family. Is that all? Well, look, my family's all split up, you know, so I don't know, I guess there was something a little appealing about the idea. That was also the reason I couldn't just brush her off in case she did turn out to be a blood relative. I mean, but now that I know that's not possible, I don't have any reason to keep humouring her. I see. I'm glad to hear it. Although I thought that maybe you were interested in Kyoko as a woman, or something like that. Yeah, that's not possible. After all, I stopped eating and gazed into Ayaka-san's face. She gazed right back at me. Ayaka-san, after the athletics festival is over, there's something important I want to talk to you about. Something important? We'll talk about it at, I know, your favourite place. We should be able to be alone there. She said that it was her favourite place. place she went whenever anything bad happened to her. Seemed like a pretty good place for a confession. Meet me there after the athletics festival's over, okay? Right, I will. Having said what I needed to say, my cheeks suddenly flushed hot, and I kept my eyes on the table, gulped down my Western-style hashed rice. I have no idea what that is. Well, I'm going on ahead. Bye. Ah, right. Our next event will be the Borrower's Race. At Marika-san's announcement, a huge cheer went up from the crowd. Never heard such a big cheer just from the announcement of an event name before. All participants, please come to the starting line. It wasn't just the participants who moved forward. The spectators were also moving to get a closer look. They moved forward too, pushing along by the wave of people. Salutations! This is the most entertaining event of the athletics festival. Yeah, I guess it must have something special. You haven't heard yet, Masaya-sama? No. When it's over, Marika-sama will make an announcement. Of course, everyone knows what it is already. It's the same every year. After all, you might get borrowed, Masaya-san. What? I thought they were just borrowing things, aren't they? Yes, of course. Rai-san was smiling mischievously. I turned my eyes back to the field and found quite the crowd forming there. There's a lot of people participating. There's no restrictions on this event. Anyone who wants to can participate. And they all participate at once? Yes. Oh, Ayaka-san's there too. I knew she would choose to compete. You did? I tilted my head in confusion. Rai-san just smiled wordlessly. Ah, it's about to begin. I looked back to the field and found my eyes following Ayaka-san. She looked pretty nervous. Maybe she was afraid of coming in last again. The Borrower's Race required speed too. And Kyoko-chan's there too. The starter pistol sounded and the participants rushed out. Huh? That's right. Usually a Borrower's Race has tags or something strewn about. They have to borrow what's written on those. But I didn't see anything like that around. At Finis's Borrower's Race, there's only one thing you borrow. That's why we don't need tags. Oh? That's why Marika-san's announcement was the same every year. The runners ran with all their might, all looking very serious. They were moving so quickly I was afraid they might run into each other. They were running across the field, heading in our direction. Towards the stands. They began scanning the crowd with their eyes, with all the intensity of a policeman searching for a suspect. The searchers were working hard, but there was a certain excitement among the crowd as well. And there was a strangely thrilling atmosphere. I was just getting deeper into watching it, when I suddenly felt myself pulled from both sides. Ah! And you! Ayaka-san! Kyoko-chan! Ayaka-san was already panting, while Kyoko-chan hadn't even broken a sweat. I thought so. I heard Rai-san murmur something. I wasn't in any position to turn back and ask her. They were holding me tightly on both sides after all. Masaya-kun! Big brother, this way! They both pulled at me violently, bringing me stumbling out onto the field. Yeah. Each one held onto my hands tightly as we raced towards the finish line, but our positions were shifting slowly. We had started as a triangle, but Ayaka-san ran so slowly, I ended up in a diagonal with her behind me. And with one girl on each arm, I'd been forced to run more or less sideways, and it was all I could do to keep from falling. Oh, are you okay? Ayaka-san seemed to be having trouble breathing, and Kyoko-chan was in the lead, glancing back at us from time to time. It took me too long to find you. Me? Yeah. Ayaka-san kept tripping over her own legs, and I was starting to worry about her a little. Kyoko-chan had been in good shape before, but she was starting to gradually lag. She must have been getting tired too. Big brother, do you know what kind of person we were supposed to borrow? No, they never told me. I see. Kyoko-chan craned her neck and looked past me to check on Ayaka-san. Looks like I achieved my goal at least. Huh? The finish line was in sight. Ah! I felt my right hand. The hand Ayaka-san was holding come free, and I quickly turned backward towards her. Oh dear. I couldn't stop fast enough, and when I turned around, there were several meters between us, and I dashed back to help Ayaka-san. Are you okay? Yeah. Ayaka-san's expression was twisted in pain as she clutched her knee, and her face was pale, and I worried she might have broken something. Does it hurt? Did you hit it hard? No, it doesn't hurt. Why was her face so pale? Oh, I guess because she lost? Kyoko-chan and I might have already crossed the finish line. I turned back to check, and found Kyoko-chan standing right in front of me. Hey, Ayaka-san. She usually called us Sama, in accordance with Venus's tradition. This time she used San. Did you let go intentionally just now? Huh? Before you fell. I looked back to make sure I didn't reach the finish line first accidentally, but... Huh? But I think maybe you let go first and then fell intentionally. Hey! Why did you do that? Kyoko-chan's voice was calm, but Ayaka-san turned her eyes downwards, as if she had suffered a serious rebuke. And just then the speakers turned on and the sound of static could be heard all over the field. The theme of this year's Borrower's Race was... The Person You Love! An ear-splitting cheer rose up from the crowd, but their voices seemed far away as I gazed at Ayaka-san. And the person that Ayaka-san loves. Ayaka-san! Wait, Masaya-kun! It was the first time she called me by name. You go after her now, it's just going to cause trouble. Wait until we're done here. Right. The race official approached us and I lined up dutifully with the others. God, this school is weird. Oh, I really am an idiot. She'd come here only twice since she entered final course. First time was the morning after her night out with Masaya. And the second time was today. It was the place she always came whenever anything bad happened to her. And looking out over that amazing view always seemed to restore her spirits. Though she'd hardly ever come here since she started wearing her clown's mask. She didn't want to play the clown anymore. She couldn't just laugh things off when it came to the boy she loved. She looked down at her left hand. She'd been holding his hand so tightly. But for some reason as they neared the goal, she'd been filled with a sense of dread. It wasn't that she was afraid of competing with Kyoko. The thing that kept tripping up her heart. The kiss she had forced on him that night. That kiss she forced on him that night? You mean the same night he very nearly raped you while he was half asleep? That you had to get out of by punching him in the face? I don't think you're at fault there. It had flashed before her eyes again, just before they crossed the finish line, and her hand had gone limp like a marionette with a string cut. Kyoko said she'd fallen on purpose, but no, she was wrong. The minute she'd realised what she had done, her entire body had just gone limp. God, she was pathetic. She'd been playing the clown that long, but when it came to try something for real, she couldn't do it. She had to put a stop to it. Oh, he got in touch with you? Yeah. Well, it'd have to happen eventually. You couldn't avoid your calls forever. And if he's gotten in touch with you, that means you, probably know who I really am. Right, the truth is, I'm not your little sister. To be perfectly frank, we're totally unrelated. Kyoko-chan admitted to it, calmly and gracefully. So what are you really after? Ritsuki-chan can fill you in later. After things had calmed down, we went out in search of Ayaka-san, and Ritsuki-chan asked to accompany us. We all headed off together towards the place I thought she'd be. Oh, I see. So it was Ritsuki-chan who helped you get into Venus's, right? Yes. Kyoko-san and I were pen pals before. Well, we can talk about that later. For now, we can worry about Ayaka-san. You sure she'll be alright up there? I'm pretty sure. Is it the Guardian Tree? What? Well, there's a tree up there. Is that what they call it? You didn't know? And what made you invite her there? I thought it'd be a good place to talk in private, and... Well, Ayaka-san said it was her favourite place. Her favourite... I see. You didn't know, Ritsuko-chan? She nodded. She said she went there whenever anything bad happened to her. Anything bad? And given how she's feeling now, she probably would go there. Ayaka-san stood at the fence, looking down at the scenery below. There were people cheering at the athletic field, but we were too far away for their voices to reach us. It was very quiet, and the only sound was that of the wind blowing past, rustling the leaves. An image came to my mind. An image of Ayaka-san as a child. First time we came here, I found it so hard to picture. The image of Ayaka-san sitting on the fence, swinging her legs below. Now she was standing, with one hand on the fence. That much was different. But the aura of loneliness around her, that was just as it had always been. Or so I imagined. Sister? Ayaka-san heard our footsteps and turned back in surprise. Oh, the three of you are here. I'm sorry to butt in like this, but I really was worried about you. Sister, I heard what happened. Is it true that you let go of him? Yeah. Why, sister? Isn't Masaya-sama... I don't know what to say. I just felt so anxious all of a sudden. Yeah, let's be honest. Confessing your love is a extremely difficult thing to do. Doing it in the form of a really stupid race like that, you can tell that this is an all-girls school. Because, I'll be honest, girls are much more comfortable saying I love you to their friends than boys are. I think I've only said it once or twice when I was drunk, to any of my male friends. Whereas I'm constantly seeing some of the women I know on Facebook here, when they post a photo from a couple of years back when they were out together, and it's just, and all the comments are like, "Oh, I miss you so much. I love you. I haven't seen you for ages." Yeah, men just aren't comfortable doing that, or at least I'm not. It's not an entirely universal truth again, but most of the men that I know would be uncomfortable saying the phrase "I love you" to each other. It's just a cultural thing. Well, I told you before, Ritsuko. Men lose their heads when a girl pursues them. Wait a minute, sister. Are you really falling back on that unfunny joke? No, I'm serious about that. No, I guess I did say it kind of jokingly at the time. You need to moderate that ego of yours too. Hmm? I had no idea what they were talking about. No, well, that was a joke, you're right. I guess it wouldn't get through if I don't tell you the truth. The truth? Well, me and Masaya-kun, we have kissed. What? They both jumped up at the same time and stared at me so hard they could have bored holes in me. I hadn't done anything wrong, but it certainly made me feel rather uncomfortable. Do you mean on the cheek? No. On the lips. Oh. Then the two of you were already dating? No, we weren't. Huh? Ayaka-san slumped over, shaking her head. That moment, it's been tripping up my heart for so long. What do you mean? Now that I thought about it, this was the first time we'd ever talked about that. After that, at least on the surface, we'd interacted in the same way that we always had. I still didn't know how Ayaka-san had felt about it. I felt a little like I seduced you. That night, after everything that happened, I was just so worked up. What happened exactly? Yeah, that's more or less it. But look, Masaya-kun's so pure. I thought he doesn't have any defense against that kind of thing, so he just went along with it. You got a great figure after all, Ayaka-san. Even my let's put that aside. It's true that most men wouldn't refuse an invitation from a beauty like you. The statement was a wee bit inappropriate for the situation, but I couldn't exactly argue with her either. But even so, I didn't want her to fall for me just because I seduced him. Huh? Why? What's wrong with a woman using one of her main weapons? We would call it a double happy wedding nowadays. What? What the hell does that mean, Kyoko? No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Do you have to ask this question myself? Yeah, you do, don't you? What is that? When you marry because the woman's pregnant. I always thought that was a shotgun wedding. You know, for the simple reason that if you get the woman pregnant, you know, then if you don't marry her, the father's going to shoot you with his shotgun. That's the version I've always heard. I think that one's meant to come from the Old West, isn't it? This conversation had gotten way off the tracks. But I think about my mom. Your mom? For a minute I thought she'd meant the headmistress, but that couldn't be the case. Ayaka-san always referred to her as mother. Just then I remember the words they exchanged that morning. The child of a frog is still a frog. And the child of a whore... Well, you know the rest. Interesting little side note here. In the all ages version that I'm playing, that line of dialogue was censored. And they clearly forgot to censor it for the repeat. Because that did not say whore last time. I can't remember what it said, but they toned it down a bit. I have no idea why they felt they needed to. You know, because let's face it, whore is a word. It is a form of employment. It's even one of the... Well, I won't say it's a polite term for it, but it's, you know... It's no, okay. I was thinking it's semi-polite in terms of it's about as accurate a description as you get, but... The official term would probably be prostitute. Then you slide into whore as a kind of insulting word for it. Hooker as a slang term for it, and... After that, you're getting into words that basically just mean loose. You know, without actually specifically meaning, you know, accepts money in exchange for sex. Anyway, I'm getting off topic again. A whore? That's a terrible thing to say. Take it back, now. What is the matter with you? You should learn not to get involved with matters of family. Look, it may be true that I'm not family, but I am her ally. Her ally? How dare you? Ayaka-san's voice dropped suddenly, and the headmistress and I both looked at her at the same time, and her shoulders were trembling. My mom has nothing to do with this. Of course she does. And the headmistress had spat out those words. She had the blood of a harlot, and Ayaka-san, that same blood runs through your veins. Yeah, harlot. Word meaning loose, to all intents and purposes. Again, I will never understand, you know, insulting someone by saying, oh, you're a person who quite likes sex. It's one of those medieval hang-ups that we really need to get rid of. I just stared in quiet shock, my disbelief overriding my anger. It was clear that more than she hated Ayaka-san, the headmistress hated her husband's former wife. And she was taking out that hatred on her daughter. Ayaka-san's face had been purple with rage, but this time it went pale. Don't make me laugh. It was her voice that was shaking now. I am not that kind of woman. Nothing wrong with it if you are. At the mention of her birth mother, Ayaka-san's face had gone pale and she trembled with rage. And at the time, I just assumed she was angry about the slander at her mother's name. That wasn't it. It was a non-consensual kiss. Normally I'd write it off as a kiss and nothing more, but Ayaka-san had taken a deeper implication from it. The blood of a harlot. It sounds like you're pretty pure too, Ayaka-san. You're really that worried over one little kiss? It's not that. Oh jeez, then what is it? Your parents have nothing to do with who you are. And the cry left my mouth before I could think, and Ayaka-san looked up at me in surprise. That's a reasonable-ish moment to end this part, so I will say thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next.